Hello. So I have a little bit of time right now because Leia took a nap, and taking advantage of the time that I have in order to eat some ice cream and to make a quick video because Leia is full of energy when I cannot make these videos. But yeah, you are so active. Like, you definitely have ADHD, just like your dad. Like, so much. You're a wiggle worm. You can't stay still, and that's okay. We're gonna work through this together. But I did want to talk to you about before you were born. So before you were born, I went in. So here's the thing. My plans in regards to giving birth to you is I wanted a water birth. I wanted to have you in the water, and I actually changed OBs because the OB that I originally have didn't do water birth, and last minute, like literally the beginning of month 7, I changed my OBs and I got a new one. And I had been seen once by a midwife in Ashland. I was gonna have you in Ashland, and with a midwife. I guess you don't say midwife. You say midwifery or something. I don't know. Anyways, so I was planning on having a water birth for you, like I said, in Ashland. And I had already went to my first appointment and it went fine. I was going to my second appointment, which was just to get a checkup to see how things were. And turns out that I never left. I went straight to the hospital. What happened is that I had some concerns because my friend told me it's normal for mucus to, and this is TMI, but this is what led to it. That it's normal for mucus to come out of the vagina. It's normal to leak discharge and stuff like that. But it got so bad, like that same week that I went to that appointment, a couple days before, that I had to change my underwear. It's like literally 3 to 5 times a day. For like 3 days, I was changing my underwear because I felt like I peed, like it was soggy and stuff like that. So anyways, I tell my midwife that. I wasn't gonna say anything, but I'm glad I did, because you never know what could have happened. And I told him, I was like, well, I don't know if this is normal or not. I mind you, I've never had a child before. I don't know what's normal and what's normal or what's not normal. And so I told my midwife that, and at first she wasn't very concerned or anything, but she said, well, we're gonna go ahead and do a amniotic fluid check. So went ahead, she took a strip just to make sure that the fluid that was leaking was an amniotic fluid. My brain is mush and I can't remember what it was, which is why I'm making these videos for you, because when you ask me, I'm not gonna remember. And maybe by me saying it so many times I'll remember, but I want you to know. So anyways, I was leaking fluid, and they took a strip and they did their test. Well, when they took that test, and they took another test, they took like a urine test. So when they took that test, and they took a urine test. They came out one yes and one no. And so she was confused, and she was like, well, I don't know. And so they took another test. And so it turns out that I was leaking amniotic fluid, and it wasn't a good thing. So that's why I ended up going to the hospital. Now, the funny thing is, I couldn't go home. I couldn't drive home, and Ashland and Medford is like 30 minutes apart, and I ended up calling your dad. And I was like, hey, so this is what's going on. They won't let me leave. I have to go to the hospital. You have to take me to the hospital. Well, no. Actually, my bad. Let me restate that. They're going to take me to the hospital in an ambulance. And then, because I wanted to drive there, but they told me no. So everyone's like, no, I'll go pick you up. I will take you to the hospital, and so on and so forth. Then he called my mom because he had to drive me. Someone had to take my car, and anyways. It ends up being, I had to sign a waiver to not go on the ambulance, And they told us, go directly to the hospital. You think we listened? No. My fat ass was hungry. And so we stopped by and we got some food to eat. And then we went to the hospital. Actually, I think I stopped by the house too to get some stuff too, because your dad doesn't know where my stuff is at. And so we went to the hospital. Like, they let us go like around 7. I think we got there like at 8:30. And it's only a 30-minute drive. But yep, I ended up in the hospital. But that's not it. That's not the only thing. Once we got to the hospital, they did all these tests, more, just to make sure. And they told us, like, oh my God, those 2 weeks at the hospital before you were born were the longest 2 weeks of my life. And also the most boringest 2 weeks, because I felt like I was trapped. I couldn't really leave, I had to stay there. I missed Athena and G. They missed me. And it was just, you could have came out at any moment, and I was scared because I didn't want you to come out at any moment. 32 weeks is too early to have you. It was just too early. And so the doctors told me, if she can keep her inside, because my water hadn't broken fully. It was just leaking fluid. And she told me, if you can just keep her inside until 34 weeks, that's the perfect time. She can't stay in there longer than 34 weeks. But we don't want her to come out before the 34 weeks either. And thank God, I don't know, you helped me or something, because like literally the next day I stopped leaking fluid. And I told the doctors that, but they didn't care. They kept me there for 2 full weeks. And I've read other people have went through the same experience that I have, and they've let them go home, but they didn't let me go home, which I don't understand. But whatever, maybe it was for my safety, maybe it was a money thing, who knows? I don't know. The whole thing is I stayed in the hospital for 2 more weeks. And I was like, and at this point I was working from home, and I was like, oh well, maybe I can work from home. But actually the state didn't even let me do that. They said if you weren't the patient, it would be okay, but since you're the patient, you cannot work from home, which at this point was from the hospital. So I try to keep my mind busy, and I did, but it was a lot. But you know what? I'm so happy that you made it at that time. You came when you were supposed to come, and you know, you're a really healthy baby, and you're really strong. And mind you, like, we had you during the pandemic, and doctors wanted me. You already had to I had to get a shot which went to you to develop your brain. I had to drink a fluid which would no, I think it was the other way around. See, this is why I make these videos, because I honestly am forgetful. But you know what? When I was at the hospital, I recorded a video, which I've never posted, and I'll probably post it so you can watch it. But in that video, I'm explaining, like, what happened, essentially. And so a lot of this, it's gonna be double. But it's gonna be explained way better in that video than in this video, because, mija, my brain is shit. Like, literally, my brain is shit. I used to pride myself on my memory, on the way that I can remember things, the details that I was able to give. Like, I loved my memory, and now I am suck. But anyway, going back to what I was saying, I had to take a shot of liquid or something to develop your lungs and your brain, because at this point, at 32 weeks, you were not developed. But so you made it in my stomach for the 2 weeks, and then on July 31st, we started the procedures so you can be induced, or I was induced, but so you can be born. And they you know, your dad made me walk around the hospital. You were born at we call it Rogue Valley, but it's changed to Asante Regional, something like that. But yeah, we had you. Like I said, your dad in the hospital, they told me walk, try to accelerate your heart rate, you know, because I guess that helps with inducing and will get me tired. And I don't think that did it per se, but that night we went for a walk, like around 6 or 7, and by that time it was 11:30, and I would sleep late. I mean, I still sleep late. You still sleep late. But anyways, by the time it was like 11:30, like, we were gonna watch a movie, and I laid down like sideways, and then I like opened up my legs somehow to get comfortable, and all of a sudden, pop, and the water, like, my water broke. And from then on, oh my goodness, I felt The worst pain in my life. Sister Athena wants to come out. Athena! The baby's sleeping. You're sleeping. Anyway. She wakes you up though. We don't want her out right now. But it was the worst pain. And I didn't want epidural. I wanted to have you naturally. Especially now, as natural as I can. But the pain. That pain literally lasted until 5 in the morning, and I feel like at 5 in the morning I tapped out. Like, your dad tried to help me, tried to give me massages, he tried to do what he could to relax me. I would be on like this peanut shaped ball bounce, and I would try to walk around, and he tried to put pressure on my waist and just do everything for those literally like 5 hours to try to help ease the pain. But it was getting more and more and more intense. Then I got to the point where your dad was, like I said, he was just trying to help me out. But it got to the point where him just touching me irritated me. And I remember he touched me and I slapped his hand. And he's like, he was so sad. He was like, you didn't have to tell me, you didn't have to do that. You could have just told me not to do that. And I felt so bad, but I couldn't speak. I like literally I couldn't speak. I couldn't think. Like, all I could think of was the pain that I was feeling. And it wasn't until like I started like kind of thinking through the pain that I did that, and I felt bad. And I think that's when I was like, I have to get the epidural. And so I gave in and I got the epidural, and yeah, and I think he woke up. Hold on. Sorry, thank you. So where was I? Oh, I slapped Daddy's hand. He woke up. So let my mommy heard it. Anyways, so I slapped him on his hand, because he was like touching me. And at this point, I'm like walking back and forth from the bathroom into the room. And like, I felt like I needed to go pee really, really, really bad. And I just couldn't. Or I wanted to go poop, or I think it's both. I don't know. I just felt like I needed to go, but I couldn't. But I think at this point, I was trying to push you out without realizing I was trying to push you out. And then I swear, like, all of a sudden I spin and I swear I saw stars as I spin, and I was like, get me the epidural like now. And so they got me the epidural, and I was just telling them to hurry up. Like, I was not myself. I think I was so rude. I was like, and I didn't think I was gonna get like that, just because I feel I usually have a lot of control, but I don't know. I feel like I turned into the Hulk. So yeah, once they gave me the epidural, I didn't know how they put it, but I guess they put it in your back, which I knew that, but I don't know, it was just everything, like, it's different when they tell you from when you experience it and stuff. And anyways, they told me don't move, but I felt so much pain that I moved and I touched the sterile area, and then they had to redo the whole process again. And I was like, oh my God, can you do it when I don't have a contraction? And the thing about it is, during the whole 2 weeks that I had you, they would do ultrasounds on me I think it was like every 4 hours, 3 or 4 hours, they would do ultrasounds, and they would always be checking me. No, sorry, not ultrasounds. They would monitor me. So I had a belly ring, and they would monitor your heartbeat, and they would do that like every every 3 hours. Oh, you found my thing. I had to put the ice cream away, because if not, you want some. And then they would do the ultrasounds. Like every third day, they did the ultrasounds, and then they would. So I have lots of pictures of ultrasound pictures of you. And here's Bus. Play with it. And yeah. But for the most part, every I think it was 3 or 4 hours, I had to do the baby. They had to monitor your heartbeat for like 30 minutes, and I had to stay put on the bed and not move, because then it would move the monitor and it would not. Yeah. But they would do two. They would do one was the monitor, and one was, can't remember what the other one was, to be honest. But yeah. But yeah. And then and then after they put on the epidural, I was finally able to sleep for a little bit, because you still weren't, I'll say, you were wanting to come out, because I can feel the pain of you coming out, but I wasn't open enough. I had only opened up like half a diameter when it was 5 o'clock. Yeah. So, well, actually, it was half a diameter. I'm trying to think. It was half a diameter. Yes, it was half a diameter when it was like 12 o'clock. Yeah. When your water broke. Yeah. When my water broke. Yeah. But when it was 5 o'clock, I was at 3 barely. And so they told me, they gave me a pill. They put one, in my water. And they told me, we're going to check back again, but I think you'll have her like at 8 o'clock. So I kept pushing that epidural. I think you're able to do it every 30 minutes. And I did it almost religiously, because I was like, I don't want to feel the pain. And like 8 o'clock passed, and I still, they didn't really tell me, or they told me, I'm not sure. But I was supposed to see if I felt any pressure, but because I was doing it religiously, like, obviously I felt no pressure, and I don't know exactly what type of pressure they're referring to, because I knew you were trying to come out. But anyways, I kind of finally was trying to go to sleep, but I think I was just so, like, worked up that I couldn't fall asleep. But finally at like 9:30, and I know you're supposed to come out at 8 in the morning, but like I didn't feel no pressure and I didn't say anything. And by like 9:30, I was like feeling tired and stuff that I was starting to finally go to sleep. I didn't really sleep that night at all. But then 10 o'clock came and they checked me, or a new nurse came in and they switched off nurses and doctors and stuff. But a new one came in and she introduced herself, and then she's like, I told her, I was told I was supposed to have her at 8. It's already 10. And they're like, do you feel pressure? And I was like, I don't know what kind of pressure I'm supposed to feel, but I don't know. I keep pressing the epidural, so I don't really feel anything. And she's like, well, lay off the epidural and let me check you. Do you want me to check you? Because this is one thing, is I heard that you get infections if they keep checking you down there. And so I told them, I don't want you guys to check me until I'm like ready. And they only checked me when she came and she texted me. It was only the second time that they checked, and the third time, my bad, because I was at half a diameter and then 3, and then this last time that they checked me, the third time around, I was already at 10. And she was like, yeah, get ready to have your baby in the next 30 minutes. And I was like, oh, shit. Okay. And so, I should let Eddie know. And so, I had you, it must have, like, I have to check your birth certificate, but I'm pretty sure you were born at 10:47 a.m. or something like that. I'll check your birth certificate, which I have to get. I haven't gotten because, yeah, motherhood. But I will get it. Yes, I will. But yeah. And I only pushed I didn't really struggle with pushing you out. I think my struggle was just bearing the pain of trying to have you naturally and giving into the epidural, which is not a bad thing. Everybody looks at the do's and don'ts, and there isn't really any do's and don'ts. It all depends on you and your body and what you want. And I know that I didn't want it, because I wanted to have you naturally. I didn't want anything, but I don't know. I guess I have this concern with, there's so many chemicals and foreign things that go in your body. I wanted to have you naturally, like other people used to do it before pharmaceutical companies and stuff stepped in. But sometimes it's okay, and sometimes it's to each their own, to each their own. And yeah, you were born August 1st, and you, my daughter, are, my battery was dying. You, my daughter, you live up to your Leo, so you are definitely a Leo. I know that your grandma from your dad's side is Leo too, and yeah, and you guys have that strong personality. Hi, Mama. I love you. But yeah, that was the summarized version of your birth. My experience at the hospital. There's a lot more little details here and there, like your dad would take the dogs to the hospital every 3 days to visit me because I couldn't live without my dogs. Poor Athena. I feel bad because I didn't get to train her as well as I was able to train G. And Tina needs lots of love. She needs lots of love. That's why she's a little devious. She's a devious dog. But she's filled with lots of love. Hi, amor. Just like you. You're not devious though. You're a good girl. Yeah. You're just a baby. I'm a baby. I love you. Yeah. But that was your story. Yeah, that was your story when you were born. When you grow up. Y cuando crezcas, vas a mirar el video de cómo naciste. Because mommy has a bad memory. Yes. But, yeah. Anyways, I will tell you way more. I think the next time I'll probably tell you why I decided to be a stay-at-home mom and why I'm here with you all the time, and how shoot, I wouldn't have it any other way. Okay, say bye. Bye. Besitos. Bye.